almost had that split start that we all love. Hey, look, Chris Myas. Crushing through the middle of the pack for lead jammer. Kicking off day 3 of the rainy season rumble.
Mary Contrary getting around the outside there, just getting past the last line of Calgary defense.
And 44, Hawkabunga picking up our first penalty of the game, a direction of play.
Chris Myas managing to put up 3 points before getting bumped to the outside, choosing to call the jam before Mary Contrary has a chance to put points on the board. Our crowd this morning, small but mighty. We love to hear the cheers.
And we got signs, too.
We do.
Crowd signs are always good.
Those are Mob City skaters. They always bring it. I see Ari already jamming here for our friends in Calgary. That is Jacqueline Hyde with the star for Jet City.
Ooh, Jacqueline Hyde forced to the infield. Are you ready? Tiptoes through, lead jammer Calgary.
Jacqueline Hyde once again bumped to the inside. Teamwork defense there by the team in white. Ari ready with a big apex jump. Lands puts 4 more points on the board.
He has been flying all weekend.
Jacqueline Hyde had hat in hand, now has hat on floor.
And also on the way to the penalty box.
Still as the jammer, Jacqueline Hyde going to go have a seat for 30 seconds.
That was a forearm penalty on Jacqueline Hyde. Aria on their third scoring pass.
Looking for a lane on the outside, has to juke past Nayslayer and Toe Jammer.
Oh, and a high block called on Aria Reddy. So we will swap out and have another 51 seconds of jam time.
Obviously that call made a liar out of me. Jacqueline Hyde was not going to sit for a full 30 seconds. Only, in fact, until a penalty was called on the opposing jammer. Jacqueline Hyde once again back in the pack, dealing with a super tight tripod at the rear.
Ruthless Red bumping Jacqueline Hyde out. It's Calgary again with the waterfall to the front, as they've done all weekend. Jet City waiting the return of Are You Ready? And are you through for 4 more?
Jacqueline Hyde once again bumped to the infield, however, no longer wearing the star. That hat got past a toe jammer, but that jam got called for time. 1 more point in the sky, therefore, Are You Ready at the end of the jam.
16-0 Calgary lead.
Silent but deadly pulling up to the jammer line here for Jet City. That is Joe means Joe. Getting ready to jam here for Calgary.
Both teams full strength as we start jam 3. Silent but deadly bouncing left to right, but Calgary leaving no gaps.
Forearm penalty called on Razor. Going to go have a seat.
Silent but deadly finding room on the outside, lead jammer Jet City. And a cut track called on Joe Means Joe.
Silent but deadly with the first power jam for Jet City. Big hit, Silent but deadly goes down but not out. Manages to get up, swing around. Points on the board here for the home team. 4 in the sky for Silent but deadly.
It's a nice surprise squeak too on that hit. Silent but deadly swings around the outside as the lanes opened up.
Big offensive play there by Bombshell. Silent but deadly, 4 more points for Jet City. Joe Means Joe back on the track, engaged there with a Jet City 3-wall. Jet City with a still 4-3 advantage in the pack.
And Bombshell holding to the line. Silent but deadly assisting as the pack stretching ever further apart.
Bombshell and one in the chamber there. Last line of defense. Joe Means Joe does finally get out of the pack. However, that was only an initial pass. 2 more points in the bank for Silent but Deadly. That was a 10-0 jam in favor of Jet City.
Woo-hoo. Hey, look. 16-10.
American Contrary once again pulling up to the jammer line, wearing the star in blue. I believe that is Projectile. Poised to jam here for Calgary. Both teams back at full strength in the pack.
Projectile getting very low, so it's hard to see from down here.
Projectile here at the front. Jet City having to string the pack out.
Multiplayer block, send a Mace Layer to the box. Freeze Projectile for lead jammer. It's Mary Contrary continuing to contend with the Calgary defense.
Mary Contrary forced to the outside by number 31, Bruceberry Pie, going to be forced to run all the way back to the edge of the engagement zone. Meanwhile, Projectile pushes the Jet City blockers all the way out of play at the front.
Ruthless Red picking up a forearm call. Evens the packs up at 3 apiece. Oh, Projectile tries the lateral lead. Bonita Appleboom getting just enough in the way to stop things up. So a 4-0 run now, 20-10, Calgary.
I am told by this handy-dandy computer that is Ferris Bruiser getting ready to jam here for Calgary. And I see Trippin wearing the star for the first time this morning for Jet City. We do have one Calgary blocker currently sitting in the penalty box. I didn't see the call. I'm sure it was good.
That's Ruthless Red on the forearm in the box. And we had a power pivot line start.
We did.
Ferris Bruiser out first, lead jammer, Calgary. And Bombshell to the box for the low block. Trippin also clear, but the jam called off before Trippin can get back to the pack.
Another 4-0 jam in favor of Calgary. Two Jet City blockers currently seated in the penalty box, meaning they got more than 10 seconds remaining, which means Calgary is going to have 10 seconds or more of a pack advantage. And that pack advantage goes to Chris Myas, who races through and emerges with lead jammer status. Meanwhile, Jacqueline Hyde jamming for Jet City. Big push, manages to stay in bounds there on the outside.
Smoking through Chris Myas to pick up 4 points. It's Ruthless Red back to the box for a high block. Chris Myas bopping through. Jacqueline Hyde also clear. Completing the initial. Chris Myas 8 points so far on the jam. And calls it off before anyone gets back to the pack. (32-10) with 21 minutes to go in the first period.
Silent but Deadly returning to the jammer line for Jet City, and I see Aria Reddy. They're wearing the hat for Calgary. Now we do have a Jet City 2-4 advantage here in the pack.
Bruceberry Pie and Ruthless Red sitting for Calgary. Are you ready? Not sitting at all. Just grabbing lead jammer.
Offensive sweep there by the Jet City defense. Silent but Deadly coming around looking to score some points as well. No points scored at all. Forced call off. Great work there by Silent but Deadly. That jam 0-0. As Mary Contrary returns to the jam line, as does Joe Means Joe.
both teams are full strength.
Knock on things.
Yeah. There's no wood here at all.
Correct.
It's just nothing but plastic and metal. Alas. A tight pack in the middle. As Joe means Joe looks to the inside. Naisler with a shoulder. Bonita Appleboom trying to help, but not enough to keep Joe means Joe out of bounds. Mary Contrarian, however, clear as well and giving chase and forces the call off.
Both Jammers fought very hard for those no points.
Right.
Jacqueline Hyde, once again, approaching the Jammer line in blue. Projectile! Jamming once again for Calgary. I didn't see them because they were like over there.
Exactly. Projectile's like really good at getting low enough that you can't see them through the pack. Sneaky that way.
Jacqueline Hyde races up an empty lane on the inside, emerges with lead jammer status. Projectile here dealing with a four-wall of Jet City blockers at the front.
Multiplayer block called on Bombshell. Thins out the Jet City pack as Projectile clears. Jacqueline Hyde calls off the jam.
Jacqueline Hyde manages to grab 1 point there in the pack before the jam is called. 1-0 jam in favor of Jet City.
32-11 now the Calgary lead. 18:20 to go in the first period.
Trippin' once again on the jammer line for Jet City next to Ferris Bruiser. Jamming here for Calgary. Calgary with a 4-3 pack advantage going into this jam as Bombshell asserting the end of that penalty from the previous jam. Naisler and Toe Jammer giving Ferris Bruiser as hard a time as possible here. Ferris Bruiser manages to juke around the last line of defense there at the front of the pack. Jet City swinging around the back looking to play a little offense. Meanwhile, Ferris Bruiser approaches. Now on a scoring pass. Sweeps around the outside. 4 more points for Calgary.
Ferris holding the line with those feet. Just like keeping it just in bounds and not getting forced out. Tripp and recycle back behind the pack. Dealing with a Calgary tripod that's not letting anything through.
That tripod from Jet City back and forth and back and forth. Ferris Bruiser challenging the seams.
As Bluesberry Pie and Rampage just get to stand and watch. Maintaining the size of the pack. Bluesberry Pie moves in on offense, and that springs Ferris Bruiser to collect the second 4 of the jam.
Ferris Bruiser coming back around. Meanwhile,
Star pass to Toe Jammer for Jet City.
Toe Jammer makes it around the outside. Dons the jammer cover.
And Ferris Bruiser calls off the jam after collecting all 4, a 12-point run. That will take Calgary to 44, Jet City 11.
Chris Myas and Mary Contrary once again pulling up to the jammer line. We've seen this matchup before this morning. Yeah, Afro's giving hip-hop Davy Crockett in a big way.
Nice. Mary Contrary swinging left to right. Chris Myas tripped up at the back. There is no shape to this pack. It's just
It is
it's
all
madness and chaos.
just vibes. Just vibes.
Raven Lunatic off to the box on a direction to play penalty. Crusher teaming up with one in the chamber and Bonita Appleboom, but Chris Myas finally through to collect lead jammer.
Big offensive play there by Sleep, making just enough room to get the jammer through.
Forearm called on one in the chamber, and pack swept well to the outside, so an easy 4 for Chris Myas. Howabunga now.
Going to go have a seat for a forearm penalty.
And a second four for Chris Myers. As Mary is rolled way to the back. Lulled to sleep, you might say, being rolled that far back. Sneaky star pass. Raven Lunatic. Now the jammer of record for Jet City.
Raven Lunatic squeaks by with 1 point for Jet City at the end of that jam before it was called. 12-1 jam in favor of Calgary. 56-12. And a team timeout. And eventually, you could also be playing at this level. The number of former Mob City teammates skating today.
It's pretty large.
Remarkable.
Are you ready?
Silent Deadly. Are you ready once again? Sneaking up that.
Are you clearly ready?
She was in fact ready.
Silent but Deadly held up at the back of the pack. One blocker advantage for Calgary. Is Are You Ready? Swings through for four. Are You Ready? Dodging around. Toe jammer, keeps the feet in bounds, grabs four more. As Ruthless Red heads to the penalty box on a forearm.
Are You Ready? Bump to the inside, gonna have to run back just a bit.
Silent but Deadly almost out. But shouldered as Bluesberry Pie picks up a forearm penalty. And Silent but Deadly again, almost clear. Multiplayer block called on Howabunga. So Taz, the only blocker right now for Calgary. Silent but Deadly finally clears the back. Are You Ready? Is like, I'm just going to wait. We get some penalty to kill. Penalty beginning to release as Ruthless Red is back in play. Arya grabs four more. There's the four more points. I'm like, I think that was four.
Silent but Deadly coming around. 4 points, 2 on the track, 2 in the box.
Jet City slow and Are You Ready down. But Rampage called on the penalty and sent to the box. That was a illegal position call. Oh, and a cut track called on Silent but Deadly. Swoopy end of timeout whistle.
Wizard of Laws has flawless whistles.
Yes, the rolling whistles. Wonders. Joe means Joe.
Look at that pivot line start. Joe means Joe sweeping through with that power start.
4-on-3 advantage for Calgary in the pack. As Rampage continues to sit the penalty. Howabunga throwing shoulders to break things up. Jet absorbing, rolling to the front, but Joe means Joe through for four. Joe means Joe works around Bombshell. Oh, but picks up the illegal contact for colliding with a down skater, I believe.
Silent but Deadly is through now, having completed an initial pass.
And we got a minute to go in the jam. And Silent but Deadly following the sweep. Calgary running to stay ahead.
Silent but Deadly managing to sneak back in, hips just behind while that skater was continuing to try and run back.
Smacky Kennedy called for the multiplayer block. Brings us a 4-on-3 Jet City advantage. Silent but deadly, bump to the infield.
Both teams back to full strength. Sleep once again running the jammer as far back as is possible in the engagement zone.
And there's another 4 for Joe Means Joe. Silent but deadly held at the back. Caught up by Sleep teaming up with Razor. Jam comes to a close. Silent but deadly did grab 4. And I'm seeing 4 as well for Joe Means Joe.
12-4 Jam in favor of Calgary, bringing our score to 88-20 with a little less than 10 minutes remaining in the half. I have it on very good authority for those of you here in the venue that there are delicious breakfast foods available at the concession stand for your enjoyment at halftime.
Right on. I like breakfast. Jacqueline Hyde probably likes breakfast as well, as does Projectile. Projectile just right now much prefers shoving people out of the way. That was a heavy sled drill right there.
Projectile pushing so hard, Toe Jammer's toe stops made a squeaking noise that we could hear from all the way at the announcer table.
For like 10 to 15 feet. That was pretty great.
Projectile bumped out by Nayslayer. Nayslayer's skate went over the line. The blocker is null.
And the points already grabbed as Projectile had passed Nayslayer prior to the hit. So 4 up. Nayslayer, Projectile hits the seam perfectly, cuts through, adds 4 more. Jacqueline Hyde still held up as Calgary swarming to the point of attack.
Got another Calgary blocker penalty and a star pass from Jet City.
Toe jammer now, your jammer of record, and called off by Projectile.
12-point jam there for Projectile, bringing Calgary over the century mark. 120 is your total score, and I see Ferris Bruiser coming around wearing a star, and that is Mary Contrary.
8 minutes to go in the first period. 8 minutes until you can go get delicious breakfast treats at the snack bar. Unless you're watching at home, you can get delicious breakfast treats anytime you want. Presuming you have them. Mary trapped at the front. Raven Lunatic trying to assist, but called on the forearm penalty. And Mary Contreras out lead Jammer Jet City.
Bombshell gonna go have a seat for the next 30 seconds. Mary Contrary, lead jammer status. Approaches the pack, takes advantage of some offense. Calls that jam 2 points for Mary Contrary before any points could be scored by the Calgary Jammer.
So we're at 100-22. 88-point lead. No, 78-point lead for Calgary. I can occasionally math.
I cannot. I can tell you that's tripping on the jammer line for Jet City.
Yes.
And Christmas jamming for Calgary. Christmas with a big, fast, hard run right up the center.
Chris my ass so quick. Although I think that applies to all of the Calgary Jammers.
As a matter of fact, also Jet City being short in the pack. Big shoulder hit there by Toe Jammer. Chris Mayass just managing to stay in bounds. Tripping, pushing on a tripod here at the front. Raven Lunatic in looking to play a little offense.
And Jet City's penalty box empties out. So they're back to full strength. Meanwhile, Taz for Calgary sitting on a forearm penalty. So it's 4-on-3 Jet City. Star has been passed to Raven Lunatic. And Raven towing the outside, sneaks through, gets past Knockout Sunday to complete the initial pass, and Chris Myers calls off the jam.
Rampage just called to the penalty box near the end of that last jam. About 5.5 minutes left to go before snack time.
An 11-point run. Official review. Calgary will not retain their official review, presumably. But they will retain Are You Ready on the jammer line. Scoring off the silent but deadly. 1:11:22, 5:25 to go in the first period of play. Calgary with the lead. Are You Ready? Starting to the outside, ducking to the in, and silent but deadly caught up by a two-wall at the back. Ooh, and Are You Ready called for the forearm penalty. We'll head to the penalty box. Silent but deadly ducks around the outside. Lead jammer Jet City.
And Silent but Deadly makes it back to the pack. There's going to be a 4-3 pack advantage for a moment here for Jet City. Pack is taking off with much speed and quickness. Silent but Deadly around the outside. 4 points in the sky for Jet City.
Some solid offense coming from the Jet City side. And Calgary losing a blocker to the penalty box. I believe
Jet
that was
City
a razor.
Losing a blocker to the penalty box. Toe jammer, the Jet City pivot, going to go have a seat as well.
Are You Ready? A little love tap on the way by. Knocks Silent but Deadly down. Silent did have the 4 points going in. Calls off the jam, and we sit at 30 to 111.
It was an 8-0 jam in favor of Jet City. We're going to have a 3-2 pack advantage in favor of the team in blue here going into the next jam. That's a teeny tiny pack, but it's enough. That is Jacqueline Hyde and Joe Means Joe paired up there at the jammer line. Jacqueline Hyde pushing, trying to get past the last line of defense, just gets bumped to the inside by Bruceberry Pie.
Yeah, Bruceberry Pie just redirecting the energy enough. Push to the outside, but Jacqueline Hyde is free, and Bruceberry Pie has to let her go.
Jacqueline Hyde out with lead jammer status. Bruceberry Pie headed to the penalty box for a forearm toe jammer back on the track. Lots of action all right there in turn 2. Joe Means Joe was still being held there at the front. Finally gets past the last line of defense.
And Jacqueline Hyde calls off the jam as before Joe Means Joe can get back to the pack. 3 points for Jet City. Takes them to 33. Calgary held to 111 and 2:40 to go in the first period.
Mary Contrary, and there is Projectile. See, I know where to look for them now.
Right.
They're over there.
Start off a little farther back. Slow roll to the line.
4-3 pack advantage for Jet City. One in the chamber coming forward, looking to play a little offense. That tripod says, gotta make it hard.
Yeah, they're not
Mary
letting
Contrary
anybody
almost
through.
manages to hold on, just gets bumped out of bounds, but does not get run back. Meanwhile, Projectile running through, coming out with lead jammer status for Calgary.
Mary Contrary forced out of bounds, rolled back by Howabunga. And Sleep heads to the penalty box for a direction of play penalty. Out of play called. Projectile clear for 4.
Mary Contrary coming forward, putting a big shoulder into Bruceberry Pie, finally emerges having completed an initial pass.
Nice.
Projectile bumped to the out by one in the chamber. Chooses to make that the end of things. 1 more point.
That takes Calgary to 116. Jet City 33, minute 20 to roll as we have Ferris Bruiser squaring off with Trippin.
Once again, one Calgary blocker seated with our cool NSOs over in the penalty box.
Ferris Bruiser, slowed by Toe Jammer.
Bump to the inside twice. Ferris Bruiser back on the track so quickly they don't have a chance to get run back. That time bump to the out by Nayslayer, going to get run back just as far as Nayslayer can go.
Oh, but not quite able to close off the outside. And Ferris Bruiser is through for lead jammer.
Meanwhile, Trippin pirouetting there around Sleep, looking to get through, challenging a seam, hat in hand. The star has been passed. But just as soon as Toe Jammer gets that star on her helmet, Calgary says that's quite enough. 4 more points for our visiting team, and we're lining up.
Roland, Jacqueline High
Things are turning red.
with the star, but Wizard of Laws with the whistle.
Correct.
So that's good.
They're going too fast to incur a lot of penalties.
Exactly. The refs can't keep up with the speed. A hush comes over the crowd.
They were waiting to hear from Wizard of Laws.
Do you notice the Wizard of Laws never waits for an answer? He doesn't expect anyone to say, yes, we're ready. He's just like, I'm saying it and then I'm blowing the whistle.
But I feel like...
It's nice that he asks the question, but...
I feel like if Margie Ram wasn't ready, though, she'd say something.
She probably would. That's a good point. Hey, you know who was ready? Projectile.
And also Jacqueline Hyde, both jammers through.
Projectile lead jammer. Back and caught by the pack. 4-on-2 pack advantage right now for Jet City. As Taz and Kiki Tiki Bang Bang sitting in the penalty box. Although Taz now released after I was looking up names. 4 points for Projectile.
4 points for Jacqueline Hyde. Projectile hits the pack again, puts up 3.
Hey.
7-4 jam there in favor of Calgary, kicking off the second half of this first game of this third day. See, I can use numbers.
That was excellent numbering. Ferris Bruiser, jammer for Calgary. Mary Contrary with the star for Jet City. And Mary Contrary finds the line. Lead jammer Jet City. Both teams starting the jam even at 3 apiece. But Kiki Tiki Bang Bang
beginning to empty. Mary Contrary gets into the pack, calls the jam, does not manage to pick up a point. However, protects Calgary from scoring as well. 0-0 jam. Again, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work for no points.
For a knot there.
Trippin' and Chris My Ass wearing stars at the jammer line. And a pivot line star just for Heidi. Ooh. Chris My Ass with the leaping out of the way of Bonita Appleboom to grab lead jammer.
Chris Mayath now back in the pack, pushing on an ever strung out Jet City defense there at the front.
Oh, with a penalty called on Chris My Ass.
That's Taz also going to have a seat there for a high block. Jet City on the power jam with a 4-3 advantage in the pack. Trippin gets through, then reabsorbed, then through again. 4 points for Jet City.
And a minute to go in this now extended 2-minute jam with that power jam penalty. Chris Myas, released from the box. A back block being called. That will send Raven Lunatic to the penalty box, who collides with Benita Appleboom, who is knocked out of bounds. 4 points up for Chris Myas. And 4 for Trippin. Pack slows down. So we got a 3-on-2 advantage for Jet City, but Chris Myas clears first with 4.
Trippin pushing and bouncing, trying to manage to keep legal.
Did get 3 out of that.
3 points there for Calgary as well. That was an 11-11 jam, even points both sides.
Yeah, the other. They get their point on the outside and then they went to the box.
Okay, copy that, thank you. So I have 10 for 14. Sorry.
This is a team timeout. Team timeouts are a great time to remind you we've got merch in the lobby.
Tournament merch, team merch, all kinds of merch. All the merch you could want.
We've also got all kinds of vendors, merch from all of our visiting teams here this weekend. Much fun stuff.
Much fun stuff, and Violet's pointing a camera at us. Admiring the sparkle, I'm sure.
4-4-3. 11. Sorry. Thank you.
All right, some scoreboard adjustment. Went down, now it's back up. So it stays 11-11. Okay, good.
All right. It did a chumbawamba.
It did. It got knocked down.
And it got up again.
Yeah. That's my favorite drill because I don't have to do it.
I know I do fear we may have triggered some skaters by mention of that
Exactly.
song.
You gotta know order, like how Pavlovian is it? If the DJ dropped that in the middle of the bout, would people just suddenly hit the floor, get back up?
The way I've been inspired to play music between belts today. All right, we are off once again. Ari, you ready here jamming for Calgary, pushing there at the front, just manages to dodge around Toe Jammer as she is pushed out of play. Silent but deadly. Not silent at all with a cackle and a wail, gets out also having completed an initial pass here for Jet City.
Oh yeah, quickly through the pack, calls off the jam. 4-0 run. 142-48.
Joe means Joe. Once again, returning to the jammer line for Calgary, and that is Mary Contrary. Looking to jam once again for Jet City. Both teams back to full strength for the moment.
Mary pushing on the outside, bumped out of bounds, but no run back, so through, and Joe means Joe squeezing up the inside lane. Lead jammer Calgary.
Joe means Joe finding a lane on the outside, gets a bump there from Raven Lunatic.
And Mary squeezed out of bounds by Taz. Little bit of a rollback from Ruthless Red. And a cut track called. Bombshell with the rollback to draw that cut. Joe means Joe to the penalty box. Mary Contrary power jam. And a forearm penalty also called on number 82, Kiki Tiki Bang Bang.
4-3 pack advantage, Jet City. Mary Contrary on a power jam. However, Calgary did have lead jammer status going into this. This jam will go to its full 2-minute conclusion. Mary Contrary picking up 4 points.
Mary Contrary 1 to beat. Picks up the second 4 of the jam. That's Joe means Joe. Out of the penalty box. Works past Crusher to pick up 4 of their own.
Calgary is back to full strength. Meanwhile, Jet City's Bombshell is sitting with our NSO friends over on the side of the track.
Bombshell's like, well, the bunny looked lonely. Third pass done for Joe means Joe, moving in on a 4th. As Mary Contrary held all alone. And time runs out on the jam. Joe means Joe adding a 4th pass. Mary Contrary picking up 3. So a 16-11 run takes us to 158-59.
Wizard of Laws.
Timeout.
Time out, please. Thank you. Space Racer got it. She knew. She's on top of things. Honestly, this track has lasted remarkably well with the level of derby we've seen this weekend. Our track tape crew has been absolutely on their toes. Both teams at full strength. That is Projectile. That is Jacqueline Hyde. That is a pivot line start.
Like Smacky Kennedy, like going, where's the line? Okay, just let me lift my wheel just slightly. Projectile full first, lead jammer. Calgary. Jacqueline Hyde trying to push up the outside. Now cutting to the end and able to get free. As Projectile forced out of bounds, calls off the jam.
Projectile managing to pick up 2 points there before getting bumped out and choosing to call.
Now will bump us to 160-59, a 111-point lead. No, 101, sorry.
Math.
Somehow the 10s digits are throwing me off this morning.
That is Trippin'. Getting ready to jam here for Jet City next to Ferris Bruiser. Bruceberry Pie there on some big offense. Ferris Bruiser finally getting to juke there on the inside, getting past the last line of defense.
Rampage currently sitting in the illegal contact penalty. So Jet City 1 shy in the box. Bombshell, 1 in the chamber. And a failure to reform called. Sends 1 in the chamber to the penalty box. A 2-1 jam. Takes it to 162-60.
My computer tells me this is Chris my ass running up the inside, gaining lead jammer status for Calgary. And my eyes tell me that is Silent but Deadly there, squaring off with the last line of defense, getting through for Jet City.
Silent but Deadly staying low and applying the pressure to stay in bounds. Chris my ass calls off the jam after getting bumped out by Toe Jammer. Did pick up 2 points. A 2-0 run. 164.
Jet City's going to call a team timeout.
Logos in post. Are you ready? Mary Contrary. Starting off jam 9 and are you ready? Dancing through the inside once again, lead jammer.
Mary Contrary, hat in hand, juking and driving there at the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Are You Ready? Sneaking through, picking up 4.
Are you ready on the outside this run? For 4 more as Mary Contrary continuing. Get caught in the back. Finding almost room, but then just the waterfall forward once again as Knockout Sunday forces Mary Contrary out of bounds. As Aria ready now with 12 on the jam.
Knockout Sunday getting called for that big hit.
And Mary is clear. Aria checks at the bench. Bench says, yeah, now is the time to call it. 16-0 run. Calgary All-Stars now 180. Jet City All-Stars at 60. Minutes to go in the game. Don't forget, coming up next at 11 o'clock this morning Pacific time,
Mob City Misfits take on the Cherry City All-Stars in a JRDA sanctioned game.
Woo-hoo. Mob City was running on the track up above. I was like, I don't have that energy at this hour. You go, kids.
Right? We love the energy level of junior roller derby.
Jacqueline Hyde jamming against Joe Means Joe. Joe Means Joe pushing everybody forward. Oh, a call for the high block. They will sit Crusher also in the penalty box for for Jet City. The multiplayer block. And
Jacqueline Hyde now on a power jam with lead jammer status.
A hard-fought 40 seconds to get lead.
Jet City sweeping forward, looking to play a little offense. Jacqueline Hyde bumped to the inside by Razor. Meanwhile, Joe Means Joe out of the box, into the pack, and through.
And Jacqueline Hyde calls off the jam. A 4-0 Jet City run. Now 180 to 64.
Silent but deadly return to the jammer line. Aha!
It's projectile.
It's
sneaking.
projectile. Again, they like to start over
Projectile,
there.
that slow roll. Time it out just to Wizard of Law's whistle.
Silent but deadly almost managing to hang on there, just bumped over the edge by Ruthless Red. Gonna have to run back a little ways.
Forearm penalty called. That will send number 31 Bruceberry Pie to the penalty box. And as Bruceberry Pie rolls in, Knockout Sunday returns. And Silent but deadly. Another 40-second pass, but clears as lead jammer. Projectile also out.
Taz also going to head to the penalty box, giving Jet City a 4-2 advantage in the pack. Silent but deadly gets through, picks up 4, calls that jam.
I'm trying to see, I can't.
That was a sudden flurry of speed. Silent but deadly able to catch up. 4-on-3 advantage in the pack for Jet City.
Mary Contrary squaring off once again against Ferris Bruiser.
Ferris looking to the outside, bumped into the middle. Mary Contrary caught up, now has a lane and gets past Razor for a lead jammer. 3 straight for Jet City.
Well, they can put together more than 2 passes.
Ferris Bruiser also clear of the pack now as Mary Contrary moving in on the scoring run. Calls off the jam. Once again holding Calgary scoreless.
One more 4-0 jam in favor of the hosts.
And How about lawyers? Small Law is a unique law practice specializing in legal primary care. Traditionally, hiring an attorney is hard, scary, and expensive. With Small Law, it doesn't have to be. When you are a Small Law client, you can say, let me consult my attorney, and mean it. Small Law can give you advice, help you plan, and empower you to go back to your own business quickly. Visit smalllaw.com to learn more. That is small-law.com. Small Law.
Small.
You're small.
That rolling whistle means we are just about to get back into the action. A little less than 14 minutes remaining in this game.
Tripping, jamming for Jet City.
And Chris Mass with a little low spiral approaching the jammer line for Calgary. Oh, and there are jammer hugs. They love each other until the whistle blows.
And
then they
back to the beat.
bash each other legally and in bounds.
Of course. Tripping, trapped at the front by the Calgary tripod. Chris Maas held up at the back, but able to sneak past and pick up lead jammer, breaking that string of Jet City leads. Direction of play penalty called on Kiki Tiki Bang Bang.
Sneaky star pass happened there. I didn't even see it. It happened right in front of me. Raven Lunatic, now the jammer of a record for Jet City.
Raven sneaking to catch up. Did not quite get there before the jam was called off. A 4-0 run.
I want to say it was close, but it was way over there. So it was actually kind of far away.
Who knows how close? It looked close.
It looked close.
Way over here.
Jacqueline Hyde, once again returning to the jammer line, and that is Aria Reddy.
Four-on-three pack advantage for Jet City. Are you ready up against Nace Slayer and through?
Jacqueline Hyde now through the pack as well. The crowd goes wild.
Are you ready? Calls off the jam.
Did we find it from last night? We found a missing piece of jewelry that was lost at the end of the bout last night. Fantastic. We love that for us.
A 2-point jam, 186-72 now with just under 12 minutes to go in the game.
Mary Contrary and Projectile. Both teams at full strength for the moment.
Mary trying the outside. Caught up. Now coming back in to the middle as Projectile also held up, looks to the outside. Bombshell tied up by Brisbane Pie and clear with lead jammer. Leads Projectile. Mary Contrary cutting into out as the pack stretches and stretches. Projectile locked at the back. Alley on the kickstand can't quite close down the door. Projectile through with 4. And Mary rolled backwards. A forearm penalty called. In the pack on Taz. As Mary Contrary finally pops out of the pack. And Projectile calls off the jam.
Their waterfalling is just...
So 8-0 now takes Calgary to 194. Jet City 72. 10 minutes and change to go in our game.
Thanks, Bruce Wayne. We almost missed a scoreboard issue, but it's great now. We're great now. Ferris Bruiser and Silent but Deadly are also great now.
And Ferris is great enough to be lead jammer.
Silent but Deadly push to the outside, did manage to stay inbound.
Oh, right until the last. Almost free. Howabunga heads to the penalty box for a high block. And Silent but Deadly has to recycle back to the back. Finally, Silent but Deadly is released. As Jet City back to full strength. Calgary now with 3 blockers on the track. Fair steps the hips, calls off the jam. A 5-0 run now, 199.72.
Jacqueline Hyde returning to the jammer line. I see that is Chris Maes coming back up for Calgary. I like to thank all these visiting athletes for having fun names.
Yes. Oh, Chris Maes. A beautiful break of the pack. Runs up the middle, lead jammer.
Jacqueline Hyde with a beautiful tiptoe up the outside line, manages to make work of that last line of defense. Number 82, Kiki.
Bonita Applebaum stopping Chris Maes. Forward small, calls off the jam with 3. Bringing Calgary over the 200-point mark to 202, Jet City 72.
Aria ready, once again approaching the jammer line. And that is tripping.
That is tripping.
Once again wearing the star for Jet City. 5-on-5 derby. Aria ready,
man.
Whip off her teammate's jersey. Comes around the outside.
Gotta love the short whip when it works, and it worked well.
Are you ready? Pinball's right off Toe Jammer's shoulder.
Toe Jammer directing traffic. Oh, and Are You Ready? Called for the cut track. Bonita Applebloom with the hip check out and then roll back over. That's... There we go. I was like, I'm pretty sure that was... Oh, yeah, called on the call.
Trippin' now on a power jam. Working with her offense, racing past that last line of defense. She is out. This jam will indeed go its full 2 minutes. We got just over a minute remaining.
Trippin' passes the back of the pack, lifts the pack, falls down.
Penalty being called on a Calgary blocker who is
trying to
working
leave.
very hard to disengage.
So Booker's like, I'm trying to get off the track, honest. Don't give me a second penalty. Are You Ready? Out of the penalty box, jumps over the down skaters, and picks up 4. That time bumped and tapped out by Nayslayer.
Jet City gonna run Are You Ready all the way back. Meanwhile, Calgary bumps the Jet City Jammer all to the outside as well.
That jammer, by the way, Toe Jammer. As we have, I believe, had a star pass.
That was. They do it
Not
down there.
showing
I
up
can't
yet.
see
It's
it.
way at the other end of the track, so it's hard
And
to see.
there she is. That is Toe Jammer. Once again, this jam is gonna go to full time.
If you're scoring at home, not sure whose points those were. Could be some tripping points, could be some Toe Jammer points. We will have to figure out.
There was a star pass.
So 12 points up for Are You Ready? 4 points for the combined Toe Jammer Trippin' grouping.
All right, jam refs and scorekeepers all copacetic just in time for the start of the next jam. Mary Contrary and Joe Means Joe. That is Mary Contrary through with lead jammer status for Jet City.
Joe Means Joe catching up. That's Mary. Bounces off of Tiki Tiki Bang Bang. And it is a scoreless jam.
Just under 5 minutes left in this first game today. Remember, we have coming up at 11 a.m. Mob City Misfits versus Cherry City All-Stars.
The I-5 battle of the ages.
It is this level of derby, only they're younger and made of rubber bands, and some of them can fly. Projectile races around the outside, finds an open lane, emerges with lead jammer status here for Calgary.
Silent but deadly, jamming for Jet City. Caught up at the back as Projectile dances the line for 4. Silent but deadly clear.
Crusher's going to go have a seat for a back block penalty.
Yes, they will. Only their second of the game, though, so that's pretty good. Another 4 up for Projectile. 8-0 jam, 222 to 76. Just under 4 minutes to go. Jacqueline Hyde out to jam for Jet City.
That is Ferris Bruiser wearing the star for Calgary. The pivot was trying to trap them. It didn't quite work. However, makes me happy. Ferris Bruiser, they're bumped to the outside by a Jet City tripod here at the front. Pack at an absolute standstill.
Ferris bumped out farther. Rolled back by Raven Lunatic. And Jacqueline Hyde broken free by the offense to pick up lead jammer. Penalty box empties simultaneously for both teams.
Ferris Bruiser chased both of the last lines of defense completely out of play, came through.
It stays in bounds. Holds the toe in bounds, one hand out, back up to the feet, and 4 points for Ferris Bruiser. Direction of play penalty called on Crusher.
You jinxed it when you said they hadn't been in the box enough.
I really shouldn't have mentioned that at all. Jacqueline Hyde forced to the infield and rolls back. Ferris Bruiser 4 more points.
Jacqueline Hyde had earned all 4 of those points as well.
Takes us to 234 to 80, and we're under the 2-minute warning.
Jet City's going to call a team timeout.
Which is time to mention Soundbite Cider because it's 10:20 in the morning, so why not? Soundbite Cider loves cider. They figured why not share that love with the world. Their apples are born and raised in the Pacific Northwest. Each of their core ciders use different yeast strains to ensure uniquely different flavors. They use nothing but natural ingredients in their ciders, which are all gluten-free. So come to our next bout for Jet City on April 26th at Edmonds Community College, and you can taste it in the beer garden there, or you can go to the Soundbite Production Space and Tasting Room right here in Everett, perhaps after and on your way to the after party.
Indeed. In case you missed it, we did have delicious Soundbite ciders at the beer garden this whole weekend during Rainy City Rumbles.
We did. They were yummy.
They were delicious. Here we are back again. That rolling whistle lets us know it is just about time to get back to Derby. Calgary with a 4-3 advantage in the pack as Mary Contrary, and I believe that is Christmas. Indeed it is.
It is indeed. Chris my ass. Lead jammer, toe jammer, picking up the star pass. Oh, toe jammer. Coming in fast, but bumped out of bounds. As Chris my ass works around Nayslayer to grab 4 points.
Pack pace in the opposite derby direction as everybody's running everybody else back. Chris Mayas hits a tripod here at the front, knocking Mary Contrary down. Now just a little bit trapped.
Naslayer and Rampage teaming up at the front of the pack. And Chris Mayas breaks through. Forearm penalty called. Oh, and a cut track called on Toe Jammer. As Chris Mayas laps through for another pour. That forearm penalty called on 1349 Razor. Calgary with the sweep to the outside, opens the lane for Chris Mayas. 20 total on the jam as time ticks down. Howabunga moving forward to try and open a lane. Rampage bumps Chris out. Chris Mayas calls off the jam after picking up 2, and that is our game.
Chris Mayas very smartly checked the clock. Discovered
Right.
time was up. And said, all right, good.
Why not
done."
call it off?
Can you see how high the things are turned up on there? Are they different?
The microphones?
Yeah.
Well, I don't. They're. Yeah, we can adjust them a little bit.
Okay, because there's a skater playing on Mob who has sound.
All right, congratulations, Calgary, on your tournament sweep.
Who is the most valuable blocker from Calgary?
Number 44.
Number 4.
That would be Howabunga.
Bunga!
Howabunga over here by the scoreboard.
I have a trophy for you.
Howabunga, most valuable blocker from Calgary.
Make sure you wave to the streaming audience. Violet's right here, and there's a big camera up there. All right, tell me about the most valuable jammer.
Chris Mayas. Chris Mayas, most valuable jammer. And most artistically skating jammer.
What? We have blue. Oh, it's Lego. It's Lego. Y'all, this is intense. All right, and then who was their overall MVP?
213.
Number 213.
213 Sleep is the overall MVP.
That's amazing. All right, wait, this is the streaming camera, and those are our photo cameras. Yeah, we have hundreds of people watching worldwide. All right, here we go. Oh, you've got my numbers. Brilliant. All right, tell me about a most valuable blocker. Number 700.
Oh, jammer, most valuable blocker.
Look at the rubber duck. You're so cute. All right, and how about a most valuable jammer? Number 27.
Trippin', the most valuable jammer from Jet City.
Screaming. Listen, Afro always brings it. She's giving like R&B Davy Crockett right now. Okay, and an overall MVP? Number 106.
106 Bombshell.
All right, smile for the camera, smile for the camera, smile for the camera. And then you're gonna get ready for the team picture.
All right, as Heidi mentioned,